Hey guys, welcome to CPL Fever. It's your host Jack and Andrew Murray here, and today we are joined by one of York Nine's youngest signings, York Nine keeper Ezequiel Carrasco. So how are you, Ezequiel?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great.
Perfect.
So how we like to kick things off, Ezequiel, is we usually like to find out, how people, discovered soccer. So how was it that you fell in love with soccer?
Well, for me, I'd say when I joined my first competitive team, I think the passion for soccer actually grew. So I started, my first competitive team was Spartacus up in North York. And I was with Coach Daniel Mendes at the time. And, he would always push us every day, training almost every day, 7 days a week. Sometimes double sessions in the summer. So it was really in that club where I think the passion really grew for the training and for everything.
And you said Camilo Benzi, right?
Yeah, that was a little later on. But right now with Spartacus, this was about, I'd say, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. And now Camilo Benzi is the York Nine goalkeeping coach. So it must have been awesome for you to reunite with him, right?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I met him, I'd say, 3-4 years ago. It was actually crazy how we met. So during my time at Spartacus, near the end, I fractured a couple fingers. I fractured 2 fingers, and I was off for a while. And it was actually through a family friend that I came across Camilo. And I started with him at Uno Academy, his academy. I was training with him for a while, and from there, just everything happened. Everything else fell in line.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so actually I was just curious, when you fractured your fingers, was that from a ball or from going into a post or?
Yeah, no. So I fractured my first one. It was my the ring finger on my right side, on my right hand. I was going up for a cross, and the wind kind of shifted the ball, and the ball landed right on my finger.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that one hurt. That one hurt like crazy in the moment, but it only hurt in the moment, and after it didn't hurt during the rest of the day. So I trained and played 2 weeks with the fractured finger. I didn't know it was fractured.
Wow.
It wasn't until my index finger that I went to go get it X-rayed, and I'm like, you know what? Can you just X-ray my other hand just in case? And turns out the other hand was worse. So
That's funny. Now, did you always start playing keeper? Like when you started playing competitively when you were young? Like, were you always a keeper, or did you play outfield too?
Yeah, so I started playing soccer when I was 3-4 years old. It was actually my mom she convinced my dad that I wasn't young enough. So my dad was like, "No, I think he's too young to start playing." But my mom's like, "No, like he could do this." And that's when I started playing when I was 4 years old. But yeah, I've always been a keeper, and I don't know, I just always loved it. I've always loved being in net, being the one to save the balls. I've always loved being a goalie.
Really?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's like the last line of defense.
Yeah, and it's rare, to be honest, to find like a goalie like that wants to be a goalie when they're young. Everyone wants to score the goals, go out and celebrate.
Right.
Now the goalies are coming out.
Right, and parents too.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, the parents always want to cheer on.
For them to say, "Yeah, go be a goalie," with these little kids that are so erratic,
Yeah.
But so that's cool. So, did your parents play soccer or?
Yeah. So actually, my dad plays soccer over there in Chile. So both of my parents are from Chile. And my dad everyone on my dad's side plays soccer. I have 2 professional goalies already in my family from my dad's side.
Wow, okay.
My dad's grandpa, so my great-great-grandpa, he was a professional goalie, and my cousin actually was a professional goalie. So to be the 3rd professional goalie in the family is amazing, kind of keep the tradition, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom also played in high school, but so it's from everywhere.
Okay,
so
cool.
So you must have gotten some tips from your cousin.
100%.
So what would you say is the biggest tip you got from him?
Honestly, some secrets for penalties, because me and him love penalties. Honestly, that's one of the favorite things. Like when some goalies like, "Oh no, a penalty," and I love it because you can't go wrong with it. Either you save it or you don't. The pressure really isn't even on you because it's a penalty. But no, I love penalties. But yeah, tips on that and just general tips like positioning and little tips.
Yeah, and
Cool.
it must feel great when you save a penalty because most of the time goalies aren't usually expected to it, but when you do
Yeah.
it builds to the excitement of like scoring a goal and
Yeah, it's kind
being
of combination of everything.
like a dark horse, which is really fun.
Yeah. I know.
So yeah. So that's pretty crazy because it seems like you really enjoy that penalties, and I know a lot of players that don't even like
want to
stepping
step
up and shooting from the other side
Yeah.
because there was a guy in the MLS last night that missed one, just skied it over the bar.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Some players, I don't know, it's tough for some players.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who would you say you model your play style on?
I grew up watching lots of Chilean goalies. So I watched Toselli in the 2007 Under-20 World Cup here in Canada. I grew up watching him. I grew up watching Bravo. So I always loved their playing. So like I always loved playing on my feet like Bravo. I just modeled my play after them. And having the chance to train with Toselli at Everton was amazing. Because imagine in 2007, I took a picture with him at the hotel. And then 2016, I was training with him on the field. It was crazy. It was I don't even know, I'd say one of the best experiences because you go from admiring them to training with them. It was anything a kid would want,
Wow.
Yeah, it must have been awesome to like meet your idols.
Yeah, for real. It was a great experience, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
what
we've
was
never
Everton Vina Del Mar like?
Everton. So Everton was great. I mean, so Camilo, he kind of sent me over there because he used to play for Everton. So he sent me over there, and it was amazing. I have family there, so I stayed with family that was 5 minutes from the field. My cousin, that's actually my age, was at the time playing with them too. So it wasn't that hard to get used to the players because I already knew somebody. My cousin was there. We'd go together to trainings, and it was great. The goalkeeping training is there. It's amazing. Got a chance to train with the first team, which any 15-year-old kid wants. So it was really good.
Yeah, Everton Vina Del Mar sounds like an amazing place.
Yeah, and it was nice. I got a chance to go to the stadium, watch some games, meet the coaches, meet one of the guys I look up to as a goalkeeper. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So
what was one of the things that you learned in that environment that developed your game?
Honestly, I'd say I learned more off the field over there than on the field because, over there you realize that there's millions of kids around the world that are fighting for that dream that you want. So it just kind of opened my eyes to look, if you really want, you got to just push because over there, for example, it's all they have sometimes, their ticket out is soccer and that's it. So that kind of opened my eyes to, get my rhythm in right away, try to give my 100 all the time. So I say it was more learning off the field than on the field.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And how does Everton Vina Del Mar, how does the level compare to York 9? Higher, lower?
Yeah, so honestly, with training with York 9 for I think already 2 years now, training with them, just recently they'll signed, I'd say the level in South America is a little bit higher than here. But I'd say in South America it's more they train soccer players, and here in Canada we train athletes, if you know what I mean. Like here we focus more on our physique, focusing on our stamina, stuff like that. And over there they really focus on key things like on the ball, they focus more on the passing and the movement of the ball. So they focus on different things. So it's kind of hard to pick which one's high in the level,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So from a keeper's perspective, reflexes, reach, or reading the play, what's the most important? What separates a good keeper from?
Honestly, I think reflexes, because lots of times you're caught in situations in the game where the player's right in front of you or it's a header from across, I think keepers rely a lot on reflexes. And yeah, I think just reflexes is really important for a goalie because you never know when that shot's going to come, hit a deflection, or bounce off the pitch.
So how do you train? Yeah, how do you train your reflexes?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
obviously, you must have some just genetic propensity towards that
yeah, of course.
because you know you got all these keepers
Yeah,
in your family. But
for
how do
real.
you train
And
that?
also, I'd say most. So training with Camilo, we train a lot of. He likes to train reflexes, which is amazing for me because I love training reflexes. We play with reflex balls. They're kind of like triangle balls, so they just bounce wherever they go.
Oh, okay.
Or we have these glasses that just turn on and off. It has like a timer, so it just turns on and off your vision, basically.
Really?
So like, yeah, so you get a shot and you lose your vision for 2 seconds, and you gotta kind of predict or just react when the ball's right in front of you. We got good sessions going on with Camilo.
Wow,
Wow.
that sounds really
I've never
cool.
heard training like that for a goalie.
Yeah,
That sounds
actually,
like really advanced.
if you see one of the pictures they posted for the York 9 announcement when they signed me, you can see I have glasses on my head.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so those are the glasses. Those are the glasses we
Okay.
had. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's so interesting. So the other thing is, you know, today in the modern game, you know, a keeper's gotta be good with his feet as well, you know, to distribute the ball, to be comfortable with back passes and stuff. When did you start working on that elements? Because for me, like it just seems like I would assume most keepers kind of, you know, played a little bit of outfield maybe till they were 10 or 12, you know, maybe back and forth. But, you know, like when did you start working on that stuff? You know what I mean? Because when you start working on that stuff, you got to think like, you got to be thinking already more long term, right?
You gotta be 2 steps ahead all the time. Yeah. So when I was at Spartacus, with Coach Mendez, that was about 5-6 years ago. Like I said, he really liked to engrave that in us, starting off from the back, building from the back. So it was, I'd say over there is when I started like working more on my feet, like more focused on my feet. So there I kind of built up the confidence to, you know, play out the back, be playing with my defense, and then being patient with the ball, you know, because that's what it is now. You know, like the game has evolved to a point where like every keeper now is essential for them to play with their feet, you know. So is that just being patient with the ball, having that confidence, and then finding that break up in the midfield or in the wingers, wherever, you know. But yeah, I'd say over that Spartacus is where I grew that kind of that confidence, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and keepers also really need a really positive first touch because there might be attackers coming on you, right?
Right away, yeah. The first touch is always the most important. That first touch has to set you up to both sides. You know, you can't just force one side all the time, you know. So it's tough because there's always that pressure coming on.
So do they run you? I guess they run you guys through the same cone drills and stuff with the rest of the team.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So especially now we get most of the time when there's passing drills, passing combinations in training, we tend to stay with the team for a while, just so we could like focus on that and, you know, kind of be warmed up for when we have like that little scrimmage at the end, stuff like that. But yeah, we tend to stay for the passing combinations and go with Camilo to go train.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So like
Cool.
the rondos and stuff.
Yeah. We try to participate as much as we can in the rondos and just basic passing combinations. You know, sometimes with more with alternatives. You know, 1-2s here, touch and go. You know, stuff like that.
So do you like playing out of the back or do you like distributing long?
Well, personally, I like building from the back just because it was engraved into our heads. We had Spartacus over there. Like he would drill us to make sure we played in the back. Like it was essential for the type of play he liked. You know, it engraved it in my head. So now it's just like second nature to me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that drives me crazy about my team. On my team that I play with, they always launch it long, and most of the time the other team gets it. And I just don't understand, but they keep on doing it. So
my team is. I'm lucky enough to have a decent chance for them to play it out of the back. Like we play it out of the back quite a bit.
Yeah, it's important.
So
more options.
Yeah,
I like playing out of the back too.
Yeah, I think all soccer players do, except maybe the striker. So another key skill is communication, right? And, as you move up in level, like not when you're, 5, 6, 7, but, when you start moving up in level, communication becomes really important. And a lot of people don't realize because, they just, if they haven't played soccer in real life and they just watch it on TV, they really don't understand the level of communication that's happening on the field. And because of the position of the keeper, where you can at most times see the entire field and where everyone is, communication is really important. So how do you communicate and kind of make sure players are in their right position?
Sometimes you can't even tell watching soccer on TV because of all the the stadium noise and all that. But now with all the rules, no fans, you can start hearing the players talking all the time, and it's crazy how it is on the field. So I just try making sure my defenders know where the other people are. So I'm constantly telling them, check your shoulders, hey, look behind you, or be ready. I just make sure that they know that there's people behind them, or there's someone to the right, to the left, so that if that break comes, they know what to do and they know that there's someone there, kind of, because lots of times you're caught and you don't know that the striker's right behind you, So that's what I try to do, just letting them know and making sure that they know. I don't like telling them, look, this and that, do this, do that. I just kind of want to make sure they do their thing, but I'm constantly just reminding them, hey, there's someone behind you, be ready, watch them, watch the through ball, watch the cross, watch middle, stuff like that.
Because the goalie is basically like the eye in the sky. They're not in the sky, but they can see all of the field.
And I guess it's important as well to have at least one of the center backs that's kind of quite vocal as well in organizing the players around them.
Of course, that's always a great help, because sometimes you're you're focused on the game, and sometimes you forget to talk, sometimes you forget to remind them, but it's always great to have everyone talking, But center back that talks is amazing too.
Yeah.
Right.
Never hurts to have another voice.
Yeah. And I really wanted to talk about York 9 for a bit. And obviously, it was a huge announcement when the KMPL announced, the Canadian Premier League announced that the season would be starting. I'm sure everyone was jumping like us. So how physically and mentally are York 9 ready for the tournament? How ready are they physically and mentally?
Honestly, I think we are ready. Physically, we're ready 100%. We've been training the preseason like crazy, getting our miles in. We're training right now almost every day. I think this tournament, this season, is just going to be whoever wants it the most, It's going to be whoever fights for it the most, and anything can happen. Anything can happen. Obviously, we want to be on the top there, on top of everyone. But it's honestly whoever wants the most. Mentally, we're there. Physically, we're there. So I think we're going to go far.
Yeah. And I also wanted to ask you about, what do you like to do before an important match, like a playoff game or like a big tournament?
Yeah, so what I tend to do is, so as a Christian athlete, I'm always there, reading my Bible, doing devotionals, on a day-to-day, So before important games and before tournaments in general, I like to, kind of just stay focused on two things: my relationship and my walk right now with God, and the game that's next. So I just try focusing on that, just making sure I go one step at a time, focus on one game, and just prepare. I don't really have any, pre-game rituals. I don't really do all that. I just make sure that I'm focused and my mind's on one thing, and that's winning that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Romans 8:37 on I think it was Twitter, right? Or maybe Instagram?
on my bio, on my Instagram bio, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been with me almost all of my competitive soccer career. It's been, like I said, as a Christian, it's been something that I try to live by. So Romans 8:37 says, know in all things we are more than conquerors through him who loves us. Him being God, of course. So, I try to focus on that whenever they score a goal on me, or whenever I'm feeling down, that no matter what, I'm still a winner, I'm still a conqueror, I'm still above that goal, above that mistake, because of what God did for us, And actually, it's because of that Bible verse that I'm number 37 on York 9.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a part of me. Yeah, honestly, and it's also something to bring God into what I do, because it's not all the time that a kid gets to live out his dream, Honestly, without him, I don't think I'd be where I am today, and I don't know where I'd be, So it's just something to bring him into what I do, give him glory and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see you wear that number 37 on the field.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait.
So when you're, so how did you first hear about the CPL?
So while I was training with Camilo, we were just constantly training at his academy, Uno Academy. And obviously the talks of Canada and the States and Mexico hosting the World Cup came up. And just talking with my dad and my grandpa, we realized that, like FIFA has a rule that, that they have to have a league, like a professional league, to be able to host the cup. So we were like, okay, what's happening here in Canada? Something's got to happen. So eventually, talks came up with CPL, and then Camilo with his offer to go be the head goalkeeping coach over there. It was really kind of early news for me, kind of, because he was always there. So it was interesting and exciting hearing that there's finally going to be a professional league in Canada, because a professional league in Canada would bring up amazing opportunities for young footballers and open doors for many people.
Right.
And so you kind of got like early news because of almost like a little early news from Camilo, and you and your grandfather figured it out for like spies.
Yeah, we were kind of investigating what's gonna happen, But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind how you got signed by York 9? Like how did they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so when Camilo, last year, the first season, Camilo was obviously the head coach, the head goalkeeping coach here. So I was just working as hard as I can, Obviously I was 15, 16 at the time. I was just working as hard as I can, and I think it was when Matt Silva got injured or something like that during a training session, like a minor injury. They needed a third goalie to train. So they asked Camilo if he knew any goalies that they could bring for a couple sessions, just not unofficially, but, just like not signed, just as a training session,
Right.
And he brought up my name, and they brought me in for one session. And after that one session, they kind of kept on calling me when they need a third or a fourth goalie to train. So I've been with the team for a while, since the beginning of the season. So it was just great, finally training with them almost 2 years on and off, and then getting signed at 17. It was a dream. It was a dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, because you are one of the youngest players on the squad.
Yeah, I am. It's surreal.
So what's it like being one of the youngest players in the entire league? I mean, you've got kind of your whole career ahead of you. There's a lot of players that are kind of older.
So
in their prime.
Yeah, and there's someone. Yeah, of course. So, it's kind of tough being the youngest in the team. It's a lot of responsibility at such a young age. Lots of discipline, but it's obviously amazing. You get to learn from amazing players, Kyle Porter, Chris Manella. You just learn a bunch. You're always there between the big guys, so you learn things, you get advice, it's honestly not too bad. And a lot of people think it's a lot of pressure, like a great amount of pressure, but honestly, like, you're 17, you got signed, you just gotta work and show why you got signed at 17, But you just gotta have a strong mindset to be a professional player at such a young age. A lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and you mentioned getting advice from some of the other players. So what is one thing you've learned from playing with York 9 and Nathan Ingham? Yeah,
so training with Nathan is great. He's a great keeper, great person. But we train. The relationship there is great. I mean, it's friendly competition. Always fighting to see who made the best save that training session, or just pushing each other during the sessions, because that's what it is. It's great to have a second goalie, like a goalie partner that what's it called? That you have a great relationship. It's a friendship too, because you push each other, you work each other hard, and at the end of the day, both of you guys benefit from it,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice. It's nice playing with him.
That's good. So so Angus McNabb, he's very much about stats and stuff. So what kind of stats does he look at when he's looking at you like as a keeper? Like what kind of impressed him? Do you know?
With everything that's been happening with COVID, I mean, we've barely gotten a chance to talk. I think the only time we've seen each other face to face was when we first got introduced at the OSA, before everything happened. So honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you which stats, because we've talked to each other. I think I could count on one hand how many times we've actually interacted together.
Right.
But with what we've talked, he has lots of confidence in the young players right now. He's excited to see what we have for this season, and it's just great to see that someone is willing to put that trust in someone at such a young age, because it opens doors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a couple young players on York 9.
Yeah,
right?
now there's lots of young players.
I feel like it has the youngest average age, I think.
Yeah, we must have, because there's I think so. Right now there's me, a 16-year-old, a couple 18-year-olds, and a 19-year-old. Like our team average must be very low right now, which is great. Which is a great thing,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So another York 9 question: which is better, the home or the away kit?
Oh, I love the home kit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, we ranked it.
I actually bought the home kit last season.
Yeah,
But,
cool.
yeah, it was nice. I like the home kit. How about you guys? Which ones do you guys like?
We like the
I kind of
home
like
kits.
both. We actually reviewed them, and I think we ranked York 9 like up in like the second or third, I think.
Yeah, second.
Great.
And I don't know, the away kit's really growing on me because I just love the colors. I just love the colors.
Yeah,
the way that neon green pops on the black. I love it.
Yeah, it's very
That's
poppy.
what's interesting.
So, have you ever scored a goal?
Have I scored a goal? Okay, that's a great question. So, I've when I first started my first season as a goalie, like I said, I love penalties, and I remember that one of my earliest memories is that season, because we went into penalty shootouts, and I had the opportunity to take the last one. So I scored the penalty, and then I had to save the next one, and we won.
Oh, so you did save it?
And we won. Yeah, it was
Wow.
amazing.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's like a double stunt. You score and you save.
Yeah, but no, I scored actually a couple goals now that I think about it. A couple at school soccer. I remember once we were losing 1-0, and if we lost, we'd go straight back to school, and it was only 12, and why would we want that, It was the last play of the game, a free kick for us, so I told the coach, I'm going up. So I went up, did a backwards header, chipped the goalie, and we stayed for a couple hours more. So it's fun. It's fun scoring goals as a goalie, Because again, you got nothing to lose. 90th minute, we're already losing. The worst thing that can happen is they go on a counter.
Yeah.
What? But of
Yeah,
course, the best case scenario is you score and you tie and you come out of the game as a hero,
Yeah. When a goalie scores, it's pretty memorable.
Always exciting.
Yeah.
They're wearing something like a totally different color, and it's a sight to behold.
Yeah. Also, on like corner kicks and free kicks and stuff, do you decide like how the marking will happen, or is it more up to the coach?
Okay, so that is more game based, to be honest, because most of the time we have like our own set pieces and our own tactics for corners, depending on the team. Because we're always analyzing the teams, right? The game footage, so we play according to them. So if we know that they always play that outswing pass, that outswing cross, then we defend accordingly, But I think most of the time, what's up to me is the wall, the wall that I put up. That's 100% always my call. But so it always depends during the game. But most of the time, it's more on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it must be pretty cool that you have 100% like power over the wall. You can say move it there, move it there. How many people?
Yeah, it's always great because it's always every goalie is different with their wall. Sometimes they want four people at the wall at a certain distance. Sometimes 3. Every goalie is different, but it's always great to have that freedom.
And what's your preference?
Well, for me, it depends on the distance from the goal.
Mm-hmm.
If it's right outside the 18, I like putting 4, a little bit farther, maybe 3. It also depends on the area, on the like where on the pitch it's located, or what foot he kicks from. It all depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you like coming out and like on a corner kick? Do you like coming out, commanding the box and hitting it, or do you like kind of waiting and kind of relying on your reflexes?
Yeah, so it's weird because I like I said, I love my reflex, and I think reflexes is the most important thing. But honestly, it's better to push forward and going out for the cross and trying to getting it out, catching it. But it's obviously, again, according to the situation. If the ball's too far, then you stay and react. But if it's at a range where I could get it, then we go with everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another scenario. So they set up for the corner, and then you suddenly see that you think they're going to put it like up high, like how they normally do, and then suddenly you see the ball go low on the ground out to the side. What do you first think? I misjudged that. Where am I supposed to go, or what?
Yeah, the short ball is always dangerous. So obviously we work as a team to deal with those scenarios. So with my defenders, obviously the great defenders, Lou Gasparado, they're all amazing defenders, lots of experience. So honestly, with those, we move forward with our what we have planned, and we put a man on and we just wait for it. We try not to panic because it's when we panic that's when everything crumbles. But we try to stay calm in those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you follow any special diet when you're in season?
Yeah. So when recently I've been talking with a friend of mine that is kind of she makes diets for people. Mm-hmm. She's a nutritionist. So we talked with her and we came up with a plan to get it. I don't really have any restrictions other than obviously the junk food and the unnecessary sweets, But we try to have a well-balanced diet. And for example, weeks leading up to an important game or to this season, for example, I'm kind of staying off red meat just to feel a little lighter in session, stuff like that. But there's no really. I don't have a strict dietary restrictions. I'm not vegan. I'm not vegetarian. It's whatever I what we feel right with my nutritionist.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Just trying to be healthy, relatively healthy.
Yeah, because you also want to get in your proteins, your carbs too, because you don't want to be easy to move off a ball in a corner. Sometimes we're going up humongous guys over there in the corners. You don't want to be pushed off balance easily. So we try to get a well-balanced diet.
And I also have another question for you. And keeper is one position where there's not much rotation because there's it's just one position other than wingers where you might have 2. Yeah, so and there's not a lot of squad rotation in that position. So how do you handle that?
Well, honestly, it's a lot of patience. I've had my seasons when I'm mostly on the bench, or sometimes because of injuries. It's I think it's all mentally. You have to be mentally strong for that, because you got to be mentally ready to be called up and look, it's time to play now. The goalie just got injured. It's your time to show why you should be first too, But thankfully I've gone through that where I've been the second goalie for a long time and been on the bench. So I kind of not gotten used to it, but know what it feels like and know how to be mentally prepared for it, So sometimes it's challenging and it's tough because you don't get that in-game scenario. It's all training. But, you always got to have that faith that you're going to be called up.
Yeah. And you got to be ready.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you got to be ready to show.
You got to be ready in the middle of a game, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
that's what you rely on.
So do you like gloves that have like a stiff thing in it, or do you want more kind of feeling?
Yeah, so I was actually having a conversation yesterday with my brother because he recently started taking up goalkeeping too. He started training.
Oh, you did?
But
Okay.
yeah. So personally, I don't like the finger save, like the stiff fingers, because I feel like it restricts my movement, which is kind of ironic because with all the fractured fingers I've had. But no, I just learned to tape them and just use the normal gloves because I don't know. I feel like they restrict the movement of the hand with the finger save. Yeah, it
Right.
helps to not have those finger jams and stuff, but I rather just tape them and have full movement than have that restriction.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you, what is one soccer player, past or present, that you would like to go grab a lunch with?
Oof, I'd say honestly, I'd say either Bravo, which is a goalie that I've always
Yeah.
looked up to, or the whole other extreme, Ronaldinho. I've always loved how Ronaldinho played, his style of play. Honestly, I feel he's one of the best players that's ever played. To be honest, I just love how he plays. His creativity, his boldness. Like
Yeah.
who would have thought he would pull off, the Rabona here and there in game, or the snake, the crossfit. Like one of
Yeah.
those two players for sure.
Yeah, those are two great players.
Yeah.
And also, what advice do you have for young soccer players trying to become a young goalie?
Yeah, so for young players, honestly, I say young players as if I'm old. But for players, honestly, just a lot of discipline. A lot of sacrifice. Because honestly, there was times where I'd miss family birthdays, friends' birthdays, baptisms. You gotta sacrifice a lot to make it big. You gotta sacrifice a lot, and just be disciplined. You don't wanna stay up late so you have a session in the morning. You don't wanna eat a lot when you have a game later on or later on that week. It's all discipline and honestly just having respect too. You gotta know kind of your place. Know that you're not the only player that is fighting for the dream to be a professional. So I think it's just that respect, discipline, sacrifice, and always being willing to work
Yeah.
later after sessions and not complaining.
Was it like
Yeah.
was it always a passion of yours where you kind of just had that drive to stay a little bit longer, than other players? Because you seem to have a kind of maturity, because you've talked about discipline and about that mentality a lot.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I mean, I've always with Camilo and Uno, we always try to have that not rivalry, but that competition in sessions. We'll go one more. I didn't like that last set, or for example, we'd finish the set and I would drop a ball. I'd say no, we're doing it again, stuff like that. Or for example, today I stayed back with Telfer and he was there shooting some balls. And I stayed there almost half an hour, 45 minutes after the session with him. So it's always having that kind of willingness to stay and a willingness to work more than so that you can have that spot or even just get better, make yourself better.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very admirable.
Yeah,
Now,
that's good advice.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the sacrifices that maybe your parents made to help your career?
Well, my whole family really has always been a support. Always willing to. Everyone in my family has been willing to take me to practice, kind of take a load off my mom's shoulder. It's always really been my mom and my dad. My mom mostly, because my dad works till late. But my mom and me always going to practice. So the people in my family would always see that and kind of be like, hey, like, you want me to take him today? Or sometimes when we'd have team trips and we'd have to raise money, as a family, we'd all either make a big food and sell plates to people. And, just the willingness of everybody in my family is just amazing. Because honestly, without them, I don't think I'd be where I am now because of all the opportunities I would have missed without that without those fundraisings, with all that. It's mostly, if I could say one, is my aunt, my tia Mari, like we say in Spanish, my Aunt Mary. She would always, make those dinners, and so we could sell them. But my family's been there 100%, always there for me, and they would understand too, because obviously I'd miss someone's birthday almost. I'd miss someone's birthday a lot of times, So they'd be like, oh, pain. Like, they're very understanding. But yeah, my family's always been there for me and always will be. Great. It's really nice having that support, because sometimes sometimes it's just you rely on maybe your mom, and sometimes you can't, or sometimes they can't take you to practice. So it's a big blessing, the family that I have right now, and the opportunities that I've been given because of it.
Nice.
Yeah, your family sounds really supportive.
Oh yeah, 100%. They were devastated when they heard they couldn't go watch me on my first season. They were devastated, especially my grandpa. Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough. It was tough to tell them that they couldn't come.
Yeah. Yeah. So also what I was wondering is, when did you start looking at how some of these goalies play tactically, like instead of just watching soccer because it was on or because it was like the Champions League or something? When did you start watching and being like, like here's why he's kind of moving in that position, and just kind of looking at it like from a more tactical kind of studious perspective?
Yeah. So again, with Spartacus, that's where like my passion for soccer really grew. And with Coach Mendez, he was also a goalie, so he was a professional goalie too. So it was great having the coach there as a kind of a model too, because he was also a player. He was also a goalie, so he knew kind of the importance of the position and knew like what you should do and all that, of course. So he would give lots of tips. But from there on, I'd say that I've started watching soccer like that. But it's we would watch film with him all the time to see the movements, the positioning scenarios. Also with Coach Alex at Juve, he was a great coach that I had. We'd also talk over film, so it was thankfully I've had great coaches on my path that kind of engraved that, analyzing games, making sure that what's happening, why it's happening, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I guess you're pretty high on York 9 going through to the group stage. What are the other?
Yeah. Hopefully,
What who are the other three teams going to be?
Oof. Honestly, I don't think I could say. I mean, like I said, this tournament is going to be this season is going to be all of whoever wants it the most.
Yeah.
So it's all going to depend on who works harder that game, who comes into the game with fresher legs, who's not sore, stuff like that. So honestly, anything could happen. I don't think I could say a specific three because it's going to be a great season.
All right. Cool. Good answer.
Okay. How about we start? I would like to start going into the rapid fire because it's one of my favorite parts of the interview. Unless you have some more questions.
No, I think that's good. Let's rapid fire it up.
Okay. So my first rapid fire question is: do you play FIFA?
I do play FIFA. I started playing FIFA in FIFA 14, and from then on, I started playing. Yeah.
Xbox or PS4?
Oh, PS4, 100%.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food has to be Dominican or Spanish food. Spanish food in general.
Yeah, Spanish food is really good. And what's your favorite fruit?
Oh, mangoes. 100% mangoes.
Yeah, mangoes are really juicy and fresh. And what's your favorite vegetable?
Favorite vegetable, I say broccoli.
Okay. Yeah, it has a really nice crunch. And do you have a pet?
I do. I have a dog. I have a small dog named Chico.
Oh.
Yeah.
What color?
He's predominantly black. Yeah, he's black and his tummy's white. White feet and white tummy.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's such a cute name and a cute doggy.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining it. And what is your favorite book?
Favorite book, I say, 1984, I think it's called. I always confuse it because it's a year. It's always confusing. I think it's 1984. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a cool book. That's an interesting choice, especially in today's times.
Yeah, for real. You can see it a lot today. It's scary.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite movie or documentary?
Oh, I love the Avengers movies. Woo! I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm always there the first day of the release with my boys, watching it. Always the Avengers. Can't wait for a Black
Who's your
Widow
favorite Avenger?
Oh, has to be Cap. Love Cap.
Captain America,
Okay.
yeah. And obviously, you probably saw Avengers Endgame, my first Marvel movie in quarantine. So I'm a bit. I don't really know that much about the Avengers, but I like it. But I've only watched it for in quarantine, so I'm a bit new on it. But will Captain America have like a job going for like kind of like a Nick Fury part in it?
I hope Captain America stays in the Marvel universe. I hope he doesn't just fall off. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see the next couple movies coming up.
Yeah.
But you gotta admit, it was pretty
excited
strange. It was pretty strange seeing Captain America when he was so small and wimpy looking.
Yeah, so small.
That threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
What is the movie that you're most excited to see? What's the upcoming
the Black
movie?
Widow solo movie. Whew, I can't wait for it to come out. I was excited for it to come out, last month, but obviously with everything that happened, gotta wait a couple more months.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that too. And what is your favorite soccer movie or documentary?
Oof, I think it's called Goal. Yeah, Goal
Okay.
1, 2, 3, something like that. Yeah, it's a movie series. It was old. I remember watching it with my dad when I was small.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would be your ultimate five-a-side dream team?
Oof, it's gonna be all over the place, from modern players to old players. I'd have, I think, Bravo in net. Ronaldinho, Ramos in the back, he's a monster. That's 3. Lewandowski, I've always loved how he plays. He's crazy good, attacker. And let's see who else. I'd have another Chileno. I'd say Vidal. Vidal's playing great recently.
Yeah.
He's a great player. Always willing to put his whole body in the line to get that ball.
Yeah. And
so Chileno, bueno.
Yeah, and with Lewandowski, do you think he would have won the Ballon d'Or this year?
I hope so. I mean, he's a great player. Had an amazing season. I mean, yeah, especially coming from Bayern, I love that club. I've always, if I could pick my dream club to play for, I'd love to play for Bayern. So hopefully that's in the plans coming up couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, they already got one Canadian player, so they probably have their scouts over here looking.
Yeah. And what is one thing that you learned in soccer that's helped you outside of soccer?
Oh, persistence. 100%.
Okay.
Always fighting for what you want, making sure that you have a goal set in your head that you want this, and you're gonna fight and work for what you want. Because that's what separates great players and great people from everybody else. Having a clear set of goals and always fighting for them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And what soccer team do you support? And I know you already said Bayern, but would that be the team to support your supporting team?
I'd say I love Bayern. I love watching them play. I love the club. But honestly, I support any club that has a Chileno player in it. Absolutely any.
So Barcelona would count?
Any team that has a Chileno, you name it, I support them. Man City. Yeah, I don't really have a die-hard club to support because I like supporting the Chilenos wherever they are in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite Chileno food?
Oof, I'd have to say it's called pastel de choclo. So translated, it's called corn cake, but it's obviously not corn cake. So it's kind of like a mix of shepherd's pie because it has that beef, that ground beef. It's really good. You guys should try it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll definitely try it out. And
after the interview, type me the name so I can find it.
Yeah,
my Spanish, from hearing it to being able to, it's not gonna work.
My Spanish is decent. And do you have a nickname?
Well, I do. I have, so most of the guys on the team call me Zeke. So it's
Zeke.
easier to say, faster to say, so they call me Zeke. But yeah, it's a more predominant nickname I have.
Yeah, Zeke. Okay.
Zeke.
And what is one superpower you'd like to have?
Oh, I'd love to be able to fly.
Yeah.
Come on. Who doesn't
Yeah.
want that?
That'd definitely be very handy when you're trying to punch out the corner kicks.
Yeah, imagine that. Have that little advantage.
Yeah, and is there and you said that you really liked the Romans 8:37, but is there another quote that you really like?
Yeah, so for me, I absolutely love that verse. I have another quote verse that I go through, like I use on my daily walking. Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Is an amazing verse for athletes, especially because there's always a time where you feel like, oh, this is too hard, or I can't go anymore. It's nice having that reminder, that I could do it. Nothing's stopping me but my brain. Nothing's stopping me but my mindset.
Yeah.
So those two verses are something that I hold very close to me and try to live by.
Yeah, I really like both of those. And what is your favorite genre of music?
Music?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like rap, and you'd be surprised how much Christian rappers there are out there. So I love rap. I love quick music. I don't mind slow songs, but I like that quicker pace. Songs to listen to workouts. So yeah.
Yeah.
Helps the reflexes.
Yeah, helps the reflexes.
Slow music, it's like anyone can hit those beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast music is fun.
Yeah, fast-paced music.
And what is your favorite subject in school?
Honestly, I'd say math. I like math. I love going through those motions to solve the problems. Yeah, I have to say math.
And what's your favorite board game?
Monopoly. Monopoly. Love Monopoly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite pastime?
Pastime. So, like I said, I love playing on the PlayStation. Playing that Warzone, playing FIFA. But also I love music. I love playing. I actually play the guitar, played the saxophone for a while.
Okay.
So, I like messing around with the guitar a little.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, what's your favorite song to play on the guitar? Or do you just like to strum it and stuff?
Yeah, I like lots of. It's weird because I like fast-paced music, but I like playing slow music on the guitar. I like Spanish folklore music, so a lot of fingerstyle. Yeah, it's a mix. I'm all over the place with that.
Yeah. And what's your and I forgot to ask you when I asked you your favorite genre of music. What's your favorite song?
My favorite song has to be, I would say, let's see, there's a lot. Holy. There's a song called Another Me by Andy Mineo, great artist.
Okay.
Let's see, what else? Another Me, 90, no. Oof, that's a good question, gosh. Gotta think of that one. Yeah, Another Me, Reflection Thoughts, also from Andy Mineo too. He's a great, I love his music. He's great, his lyrics are amazing, he's a Christian artist, so he's a great artist. You guys should really listen to him.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
maybe we'll try and put some links to the songs that you just named down below in the description. And also,
it's a tough question, like your favorite song, it's like because you listen to music all the time, and it changes probably from, it's a tough question.
Yeah, it probably changes every week for me. And I'll have the songs I like, but sometimes I like one better than the others. Just depends on the mood I'm in. And it's my last rapid fire question, and then I'll have a closing up question. And 3 words to define you.
3 words to define me. I say respectful. Respectful, committed. Respectful, committed, and persistent.
Nice.
You know, stubborn. I like to be stubborn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stubborn.
Seem pretty happy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be a bonus one. That'll be number 4.
Optimistic.
You get 4.
Yeah, optimistic. And what are your goals for the future? Well, play for Bayern.
Yeah, play for Bayern is really up there. But like I said, I like to take it, one step at a time. So hopefully debut this season. Let's see. Debut, have graduated college, honestly, through all this.
Yeah.
Graduate and, just be the best me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Possible, staying humble. All up there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ezequiel, so much for coming on. We really enjoyed talking with you. You had some great answers, and this was just an awesome conversation.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was amazing talking to you guys. It was really nice having this interview. Actually, this is my first interview as a professional player, so it was really nice.
Okay, cool.
But, no, it was really fun talking to you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming on. You're actually our first keeper interview. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you play. That's going to be exciting. I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing that. And thanks so much for giving us the time to do this interview.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
And don't hesitate to message me anytime you guys want. You guys are great people to talk to.
Okay, will do.
I have to say again, I love talking with you.
Thank you guys. Thank you. It was really fun talking to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Ezequiel.
Yeah, thanks, Ezequiel.
God bless.
All right.
Yeah, bye.